Welcome back to the Deep Dive. You know, usually when we sit down to talk about these economic shifts, we're looking at these huge, decade-long timelines.
Where you zoom way out.
We zoom out until the whole world is just sort of a blur on a graph.
Which is useful for the history books, but it can feel a little abstract when you're trying to figure out what's happening right now.
Exactly. So today, we are doing the complete opposite. We're zooming in, way in. We're looking at a single 20-hour window from the afternoon of Monday, February 9th to the morning of Tuesday, February 10th, 2026.
It sounds incredibly specific, doesn't it? But, sometimes you need a microscope to really see how the organism is evolving.
And the organism here is the South Bay of Los Angeles. We are working off a really eclectic stack of documents today.
Yeah, it's quite a mix.
We have a breaking press release from a semiconductor company, a fiscal earnings call from an auto parts manufacturer, and this is my personal favorite, a city council agenda that reads more like a luxury lifestyle brochure.
And the thing tying it all together is this really fascinating analysis from Voxel Micro Video Labs.
The South Bay Silicon Pivot.
That's the one.
It's a catchy name, but the reality they describe is, it's pretty stark. The premise is that this region isn't just hiring new people.
No, not at all. It's it's updating its entire operating system.
Its operating system, I like that. It's shifting from a place that just stores commodity electronics to a high-value intellectual property hub.
And that upgrade is messy. It has clear winners, it has clear losers, and it is happening fast.
So if you want to understand how the global AI arms race actually changes the local neighborhood, you just have to look at what happened in Torrance and Redondo Beach over these 20 hours.
Let's do it.
So let's start the clock. Monday afternoon, Torrance, California, a company called Navitas Semiconductor, ticker NVTS, drops a press release.
Right.
They announce a 10-kilowatt DC-DC platform.
Which I admit doesn't sound like the most thrilling headline to, the uninitiated.
No.
It sounds like a spec sheet you'd just throw away.
It sounds like the manual for my washing machine. But the Voxel report, it treats this thing like a smoking gun. So why is this specific piece of hardware such a big deal?
Okay, so to get that, you have to understand the crisis that's happening inside data centers right now. We all know companies are building these massive AI models.
With hyperscalers, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, the big brains.
Right. And they're packing thousands and thousands of GPUs into racks to train those brains. But there's a physical limit they're hitting. Heat, exactly. Silicon chips, the standard stuff we've used for decades, they're just hitting a wall.
Yeah.
When you push that much voltage through them fast enough to run AI, they get incredibly hot, they leak energy.
So the data center spends half its energy just trying not to melt.
Basically, yeah. And that is where Navitas comes in. This new platform, it doesn't rely on plain old silicon.
Okay.
It uses two materials, gallium nitride GaN and silicon carbide, or TEDoptic-IMIANI.
We've seen these acronyms popping up more and more. Wide bandgap materials.
That's the technical term. So think of bandgap as the amount of energy it takes to get an electron moving.
Mm-hmm.
These wide bandgap materials, they can handle way higher voltages and temperatures than silicon before they, break down.
Yeah. They
can switch faster and with way less resistance.
The report highlights a specific number here that I circled 3 times. 98.5% efficiency.
That is the magic number. In power electronics, every single fraction of a percent matters. If you're at 98.5% efficiency, you're wasting almost no energy as heat.
Which means you don't need as many fans or liquid cooling systems or...
Exactly. And that leads to the buzzword of the day, densification.
Densification.
Because the Navitas chip runs cooler and it handles an 800-volt architecture, which is a massive voltage. You can pack way more compute power into the exact same server rack.
So for a company like NVIDIA or a cloud provider, this isn't just a power supply. It's real estate.
It's real estate.
It lets them double their brain power without having to build a whole new building.
Precisely. And that's why the Voxel report calls this Navitas 2.0. This isn't just a product launch, it's a strategic pivot.
Right.
For years, Navitas was known for consumer stuff. Those little fast-charging bricks for your phone.
The ones that charge your phone in 20 minutes. I love those things. I have one in every room.
They're great products. But from a business perspective, they are a commodity. It's a volume game, low margins. You sell them at Best Buy or on Amazon.
Okay.
Navitas is basically saying we are done chasing that. They are pivoting hard toward the industrial side AI data centers, EV grids.
Okay, so that's the tech. But this is a show about people and places, and the Voxel report, it uses a phrase I found really interesting and, honestly, a little chilling.
Which one?
It calls this shift talent recalibration.
It is a polite way of saying corporate shakeup, isn't it?
It's the kind of phrase that makes you nervous if you see a meeting invite from HR. But let's unpack it. If Navitas is pivoting to this super high-end 800-volt world, what does that do to the workforce in Torrance?
Well, it creates what the report calls a pruning effect.
Pruning. That implies, cutting off the dead weight so the new stuff can grow.
It's harsh, but it's accurate. If you are a marketing manager who specializes in getting phone chargers onto the shelves at Walmart,
yeah,
or if you work in supply chain logistics for high-volume consumer goods, your value to Navitas just dropped. The report predicts a softening in demand for those roles.
Because they aren't shipping millions of little boxes anymore. They're shipping specialized infrastructure.
Exactly. But at the same time, a vacuum opens up. They don't just need engineers. They need a very specific, very expensive type of engineer.
Right.
People who get thermal density, who can design circuits using gallium nitride.
I imagine that's a pretty small pool of people.
It is tiny. These are not entry-level coding jobs where you can do a boot camp and get hired.
No.
These are roles that require advanced degrees in electrical engineering or materials science. We're talking about people who can command massive salaries because they are, well, they're essentially the architects of the AI grid.
The report actually makes this distinction between salesmen and enterprise architects. I thought that was a really telling detail about how the culture of the office changes.
Oh, it changes the entire vibe of the building.
How so?
Well, if you're selling consumer electronics, it's transactional. How many units do you need? What's the price point?
Right.
But if you are selling power infrastructure to a hyperscaler, you aren't selling a part. You're integrating into a multi-billion-dollar system.
So the sales guy needs to know as much physics as the engineer.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
You need business development executives who can handle these 6-month contract cycles, who can read complex technical specs.
And who can sit in a room with NVIDIA's top engineers and not look totally lost.
Exactly.
So Torrance effectively is trading volume for value.
That is the Torrance node concept. Mm-hmm. Physically, the city is changing. Warehouses, which are just storage space for boxes, are becoming less relevant to these companies.
They don't need storage.
They need R&D labs. They need clean rooms. Torrance is transitioning from a place where things are stored to a place where intellectual property is created.
That sounds great for the city's tax base, in theory. You have this booming high-tech industry taking root. I saw Navitas stock was super active this morning, over 8 million shares traded. Wall Street loves this story.
Wall Street always loves a pivot to higher margins.
But here's the rub. While Navitas is popping champagne over their 98.5% efficiency, right next to, literally in the same zip code, we have a very different reality playing out.
The regional contrast. Yeah, this is the part of the Voxel report that really grounded the whole analysis for me.
We're talking about Motorcar Parts of America, ticker MPAA. They released their fiscal third quarter results yesterday, too.
And the vibe was
different.
Very different. MPAA is a legacy company. They're the backbone of the old South Bay economy. They remake alternators, starters, brake calipers.
Stuff that keeps regular combustion cars running. I have their release right here. They did not mention AI or gallium nitride. They cited a large customer ordering reduction due to store closures and consolidation.
That is corporate speak for retail is dying.
Yeah.
They are so heavily dependent on auto parts stores. The places you go on a Sunday to buy windshield wipers.
Sure.
Well, that whole sector is consolidating. Stores are closing. Distribution centers are merging. And when that happens, MPAA takes a direct hit. I think sales were down about, $17 million to that one customer alone?
That is a massive hit.
It is.
Yeah.
And it just highlights the friction the report talks about. MPAA is trying to pivot. They mentioned they are pursuing strategic alternatives for EV testing.
Right.
But it's like trying to turn an aircraft carrier. Navitas is a speedboat. They're native to this new tech. MPAA has to keep this huge legacy business of remanufacturing alternators alive while also trying to figure out the future.
It really paints a picture of a bifurcated labor market, doesn't it?
That is the key phrase of this whole deep dive. If you're standing in an industrial park in Torrance right now, your economic reality depends entirely on which door you walk through.
Walk through door A at Navitas, and you're in the gold rush. You're an enterprise architect working on the bleeding edge of AI, commanding a huge salary.
And then you walk through door B at MPAA, and you're facing ordering reductions, store closures, and just uncertainty. The floor is shrinking beneath you.
So we've established that this new wealth, this Navitas 2.0 money, is being generated in torrents. But money doesn't stay in the corporate bank account.
Right.
It gets paid out in salaries, and then it goes somewhere.
Ah, the lifestyle dividend.
This is where we turn to my favorite document in the whole stack, the City Council agenda for Redondo Beach for today, Tuesday, February 10th.
Usually municipal agendas are incredibly boring. Potholes, zoning variances.
Maybe a dispute about a fence height.
Right.
Not this one.
Yeah.
This agenda is basically a shopping list for the new tech wealth we just talked about.
It really is.
Yeah.
The Voxel report argues that if torrents is the engine generating wealth through IP, then Redondo Beach is the capture mechanism.
It's where that disposable income goes to die.
Or to live its best life, depending on your perspective.
Let's look at item F.6, negotiations regarding the marina parking lot and seaside lagoon with Beach Life Festival.
Right. And this isn't the local Rotary Club Carnival. Beach Life is a major high-end music festival brand.
Tickets are hundreds of dollars. VIP packages run into the thousands.
And the city is in closed session negotiations to give them access to prime waterfront real estate.
It suggests the city is doubling down on experience economy events, the kind of thing a stressed-out, highly paid engineer wants to do on their weekend.
They don't want to mow the lawn. They want a curated experience by the lagoon.
But that's just the appetizer. Item F.8 is the main course. Negotiations with Nike, Inc. regarding waterfront property.
Yeah.
Portions of the marina parking lot, Harbor Drive, the Esplanade.
This one really caught me off guard.
Why is Nike negotiating for waterfront space in Redondo Beach? They aren't building a factory there.
No. And you don't send high-powered lobbyists. I saw Englander, Nabe, and Allen are listed in the agenda just to open a standard shoe store.
So what is it?
This signals something else. A corporate hub. An experiential retail center. A brand activation site.
It fits that lifestyle node theory perfectly, doesn't it? Big global brands want to be where the affluent talent lives.
Exactly. If you have a concentration of people making AI architect money living in the coastal zone, brands like Nike want to be physically present in their daily loop.
They want to be part of the scenery.
They want to be part of the scenery.
Speaking of the scenery, we have to talk about item H6. It's a small line item, costs about $107,000, but I think it's the most symbolic thing in the whole document.
The tennis courts.
Contract to resurface the tennis courts at Alta Vista Park and convert one of them into 4 pickleball courts.
It is almost a cliche at this point, isn't it? But it's happening.
Why is this so significant? I mean, aside from the noise complaints from neighbors.
It's a demographic marker.
Yeah.
Tennis is the old guard sport. It takes a long time to learn. It requires a lot of space. It was the sport of the aerospace generation that built the South Bay.
Okay.
Pickleball is the sport of the tech demographic. It's fast, it's social, it's efficient.
Efficient, just like the Jan chips.
In a way, yes. By physically ripping up a tennis court and replacing it with 4 pickleball courts, the city is literally reshaping its public infrastructure to match the preferences of this incoming population.
It's a small detail, but it shows the city government is paying very close attention to who is moving in.
Absolutely.
So we have this flow. The wealth gets created in the labs in Torrance. It moves west to Redondo. It buys the $3 million house.
It plays pickleball at Alta Vista.
It goes to the Beach Life Festival.
And it attracts Nike to the waterfront.
Yes.
It's a self-reinforcing loop. The specialized engineers make the money, and Redondo Beach creates the environment to extract that money right back out.
But there is a moment in the agenda that kind of stops the music for a second. Item T1.
The adjournment.
Adjourn in memory of David Poster, 99-year-old Redondo Beach resident.
Yeah. I've stared at that line for a while.
99 years old. This man lived through the entire previous era of the South Bay.
Think about what he saw. He probably saw the post-war boom. The aerospace era, when the South Bay was building rockets and fighter jets during the Cold War.
Right.
He saw the rise of the middle-class suburban dream, where a factory worker at an auto parts plant could actually afford a house near the beach.
And his passing right on this specific day, February 10th, 2026, it feels incredibly symbolic. It's like the closing of a chapter.
It is. The old South Bay, the affordable manufacturing-heavy suburb, is fading out. And this new region, high efficiency, high cost, driven by global AI demand, is taking its place.
The torch is being passed whether the residents want it to be or not.
That's right.
So if I'm listening to this and I don't work for Navitas, and maybe I don't even live in California, why does this matter to me?
I think the takeaway is about friction versus flow. We're seeing it play out in real time in this 20-hour microcosm.
Let me explain that.
The global economy is shifting toward AI and electrification. That is the current. That's the river. If your skills or your business model are tied to the old way like commodity sales or the physical retail auto parts, you're going to feel friction.
Right.
Massive friction, like MPAA losing a $17 million customer overnight.
But if you align with the new demand,
then you get the flow.
Uh-huh.
If you can reskill into the things that the Navitas 2.0 world needs, power electronics, thermal management, complex B2B sales, your market value just skyrocketed. You aren't just swimming downstream, you're on a speedboat.
It's a reminder that these headline grabbers like AI needs more power don't just stay on a stock ticker, they land in your neighborhood.
They absolutely do.
Yeah.
The demand for a better GPU in a data center in Northern Virginia is directly responsible for a tennis court becoming a pickleball court in Redondo Beach.
It changes who your neighbor is.
It changes what stores open on Main Street.
It connects the macro to the micro in a way that's almost scary.
It's an ecosystem. And when the climate changes, the ecosystem adapts. Some species thrive, others struggle.
I want to leave listeners with a thought, though. We spent a lot of time talking about the winners today. The engineers, the city collecting tax revenue, the Nike lobbyists. It all sounds very shiny and efficient. But as cities like Redondo pivot so hard to cater to this tech wealth, what happens to the legacy workforce? The people who worked at MPAA? The people who aren't enterprise architects?
That is the uncomfortable question.
Are we seeing the creation of a closed economic loop where the highly specialized people make the money in the tech hub and then they spend it among themselves in the lifestyle hub?
And everyone else is just servicing the loop or priced out of it entirely. Exactly.
That the operating system upgrade doesn't include everyone. You end up with a very high-performance city, but it might be a very exclusive one.
A city with 98.5% efficiency, but maybe a little less soul.
Something to mull over the next time you hear that distinct thwack-thwack sound of a pickleball paddle. That's it for this deep dive into the South Bay Silicon Pivot. Thanks for listening.
See you next time.